Good evening. Good evening. How are you guys doing? Good evening and welcome. What a great night to be at USC. My name is Dave Belasco, and I am the co-director of the Greif Center for Entrepreneurial Studies in the Marshall School of Business, along with Dean Jim Ellis and my co-director, Dr. Helena Ilirenko. It's our pleasure to welcome you here tonight. Tonight we're excited to bring back two great alums, Craig Pollard and Will Ferrell, to talk about their lives, their work, and the charity that they've built together. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit of entrepreneurship. How many of you, by show of hands, how many of you in the audience are in an entrepreneur class or plan to take an entrepreneur class before you graduate from USC? Oh yeah, oh yeah. After tonight, let's make sure we push that up to 100%, especially for my class in the spring, the LEAP plug. All right, our mission, simmer down. Our mission at the Greif Center is to train tomorrow's entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders by teaching them the skill set and the mindset to launch businesses and impact the world. We've been doing it since 1971 and have a pretty good track record. Our grads have started some incredible businesses, including Kinko's, Salesforce, and MySpace, to name a few. We also have an annual tradition of honoring an Entrepreneur of the Year in the business world. In the past, we've honored Howard Schultz of Starbucks, Ray Kroc of McDonald's, Steve Jobs, and Tom Barrack, among many others. It's a great tradition, and we welcome you guys to come back in the spring when we do it again. Just in the past year at the Greif Center, we've had the founders of the following companies come: Siri, Square, Vizio, Kinko's, Quicksilver, WestJet, Kiva.org, Water.org, Mark Burnett, John Legend, Stanley Druckenmiller, Jeffrey Canada, Landon Donovan. This is the place you come when you want to see people who have done it. And just last month, U.S. News and World Report ranked the Greif Center as the #2 entrepreneur program in the country. I guess that entitles us to play Babson in the Fiesta Bowl. All of this and all of the classes that you're taking are orchestrated by a dedicated and energized faculty. Will all professors and staff from the Greif Center please stand so we can acknowledge your great work? Greif Center faculty, lights up. And let's not forget to acknowledge the man who endowed the program and is such a huge part of our future. Please say hello and thank you to Mr. Lloyd Greif. Lloyd. Tonight is about friendship, fun, and fighting on through some of the harshest circumstances life can offer. Everyone here has been affected by cancer. And everyone here has laughed at a Will Ferrell movie. So what does entrepreneurship and comedy have in common? Both require a sense of humor. Both can lead to failure, embarrassment, and waiting tables. Both require taking risks, being vulnerable, and getting to the edge of your abilities. And don't try to tell me that writing a movie and getting it made is not entrepreneurial. It is the exact same thing. Tonight, we welcome back one of our own, one of our graduates from the Entrepreneur Program. Craig Pollard is the co-founder of Global Tour Golf, a leading golf supply company serving golf stores, pro shops, and courses around the country. A good friend of mine is the president of American Golf Corporation, the largest operator of golf courses, and he happens to be here. And I asked him, about Craig, and he said, quote, "Craig's company is one of the most valued and trusted vendors we have. When Craig says it will get done, it's done. That's it," unquote. And if you knew that guy, he is not easy to please. Craig is also the founder, inspiration, and driving force of Cancer for College, which provides scholarships to students facing the dual hardship of battling cancer and paying for college. This is a story you have to hear. And with Craig is his college friend and fraternity brother, who just happens to be one of the most popular and enduring comedic actors of our time. He's also a bona fide entrepreneur as a producer of movies, TV shows, Eastbound and Down, and co-founder of Funny or Die on the internets. But we know him from Saturday Night Live and a long list of unforgettable movies. Most have become so iconic and ubiquitous that you can name them from a single line. You ready? You ready? How well do you know your Will Ferrell trivia? You guys ready? I'll give you the quote, you give me the movie. Dear 8-pound, 6-ounce, newborn infant Jesus. Talladega Nights, all right. It's so good once it hits your lips, so good. You're not Santa, you smell like beef and cheese. What is she doing? I never know what she's doing back there. I could not love a human baby more than I love this brush. Blades of Glory, you guys said pretty good. All right, here's one. I invented the piano key necktie. I invented it. I was thinking maybe students wouldn't know this because they're a little bit younger, huh? All right, if Bruce Dickinson wants more cowbell, we should probably give him more cowbell. And what I'm often told, your voice is like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. And lastly, I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany. We have got a lot to cover tonight. Nice little Monday. I don't know if we'll have enough time. Let's get it started with a look at Will's next movie, Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. Please welcome two great alums, Craig Pollard and Will Ferrell.
Where do I sit?
Center.
Where do you want me?
That's fine. He's in the center.
Okay.
Let's get it going.
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
Let's get it going.
I got to get out of here in 10 minutes, so let's get this thing going.
We didn't tell them about that part. Thank you so much for coming back, guys. It's just been a great preparation for this. Everyone's so fired up. Thank you, Craig. Thanks to your friend, first name Emil? Emil, sorry.
Yeah.
Emil, who put this all together. Yeah. It's great to have two Trojans back. Now, you come from a long line of Trojans.
Yes.
How far back do you go?
Grandfather graduated in 32, and my mom and dad are out there, graduated in 62.
And your parents met here.
They did, yes.
They met right here.
And just how much was tuition when your grandfather graduated in 1932?
I actually, I think my father gave me a copy of it. It was $5 a unit in 1930. Yeah.
That's a bargain.
Yeah.
It's
What is it now, like $30 a unit?
it's
Because I don't know.
it's $1,600 a unit, $50,000 a year.
It's not worth it. It's way too much. Yeah.
That's what we do. They keep coming.
Yeah.
So it's events like this that give them their money's worth. So that's what we're going to try and do is educate them and then maybe entertain them a little bit. Tonight we're going to talk about their collective story and their careers. We're going to talk up here for about an hour, And then we're going to have some questions from the audience, so students can ask them questions for about 25, 30 minutes. And then we'll...
Are you dressed as Ricky Bobby? Wow. That is...
Nice catch.
That's dedication. Right? Yeah. Did you make that?
No, this is my Halloween costume for about 5 years now.
And
It's paying off.
you refused to wash it? Yes. Okay. And that was store-bought? Was that bought in the store? Was that store-bought? Okay. Yeah.
You know why he asked
I had
that?
no idea there were...
You know why he asked that? Because, the royalties have to be official coming back here. This guy is astute.
It's a little cash cow for me. Yeah.
I actually asked him backstage, hey, do you ever get tired of like middle-aged dudes coming up to you and quoting your movies to you? So like, it could be a long night for you if that's the case. So we'll try and avoid that. But I want to start out and sort of just talk about, before we talk about SC and you guys meeting, where you grew up, where you came from. So we'll start with Craig. Where did you grow up? And local guy?
Yeah, Villa Park in Orange County.
In Orange County, and how big is your...
Villa Park Spartans.
Good call.
Let's hear it for Villa Park.
How many kids in your family?
3.
3 kids. And any childhood dreams when you were a kid?
Oh, it was absolutely 100% having a grandfather and a mother and father that came here is that I wanted to come to USC.
And then you also played sports, so did you have a dream about sports?
Oh, yeah, my goal was to play baseball at USC.
Played baseball for USC, and then ultimately for the Dodgers. I think you're a big
Correct,
Dodger fan.
yeah.
We have a picture of you in Little League.
Uh-oh.
Show that picture from... There you go.
Oh.
In the Dodger uniform, ready to go. He's a left-hander. Bats left, throws left. And you played baseball. You played baseball at Villa Park.
I did.
I don't mean this in the wrong way, but not a good-looking kid, you know? Yeah.
It's my dad's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up.
Oh,
Keep going.
We've got some of you as well.
So far, it's going great. Yeah.
And good athlete, played a little football, a lot of baseball. So tell us how your life changed when you were a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, I was playing football and noticed just a lump underneath my arm and just thought it was something from the shoulder pads playing football. And make a long story short, there was a family friend that was a doctor that told us that it was probably more of a lymph node or a tumor and that I needed to get it tested. And, just not thinking anything about it, found out, about a month later, sophomore year in high school, that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
And what is Hodgkin's?
Hodgkin's lymphoma is just cancer of the lymph system.
And what was the course of treatment? Well, first of all, when you were first told, what was the only question you asked the doctor?
The only question I asked was I going to be able to play baseball that year or not? And the doctor said no, and that's kind of when it first hit me that I might have something really bad.
And what did the treatment entail?
I had to have surgery to remove my spleen, appendix, several lymph nodes, followed by 9 months of chemotherapy and 3 months of radiation.
And you finished, and that's harsh, you finished chemo and radiation in your junior year?
Yeah, the end of my sophomore year, yeah.
And got back out on the baseball field. Mm-hmm. So your senior year, you have a good year in baseball?
I had a pretty good year.
Pretty good year. You made all league. Yeah. What was your batting average your senior year?
High enough to keep me in the lineup.
Come on, give me the number. I know the number. What is it?
You say it then.
240.
Yeah, 190. Yeah.
240. He batted .585 as a senior. Dodgers could use you.
All bunt singles.
Yeah.
You love to drag that bunt. Yeah.
Slash hitter.
The lefty.
Yeah.
So, in high school, you graduate, you beat back cancer, you're recruited by USC, you sign a letter of intent, and you're off to come here and play baseball.
Correct.
Good story in the making.
That was fantastic. Yep.
And you, Mr. Ferrell, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Palmdale, and no. I grew up in the mean streets of Irvine, California. Yeah. I started the Irvine Crips out there. And, no, I was born in Newport Beach, and we lived in Corona del Mar until I was about 5 years old, and then I know. Yes. And then we moved to the master plan community that is known as Irvine.
And in high school, you sort of were known for doing something in the morning. Can you sort of tell us this talent that you showed as a high schooler?
Well, in high school, I started doing the morning announcements. Usually I have a little announcement in between first and second period, which tells you what the day's events are. And I had my buddy Steve Baldakowski, who was the senior class president, was trying to figure out a way to sell senior class T-shirts, which was our big fundraiser to get to do a fun thing at the end of the year. And so he enlisted my help and my buddy Bart, and we basically started writing skits that we would announce throughout the school, where we would make fun of teachers, students, do assumed character voices, everything, and something that really shouldn't have been allowed in school. But it became so successful that teachers would come up to me and were like, "When are you doing another announcement?" And so that was kind of the beginning steps I took in thinking that I wanted to do comedy.
You came to USC, and what was your major here?
Sports information. Yeah!
Spin.
Which I think they offered for 10 years, and then they took it away because it was too hard. It was just too hard. Yeah. It was too hard a major. No, I literally had to take volleyball as a class, and
Didn't you have Yankees from like 1920 to 1950?
yeah, it was like the rules of sports 101, and but it was part of the journalism school. So I was at that time I thought I was going to be a sportscaster,
And so we actually searched through Annenberg archives, and we're lucky enough to find footage from you and your first foray
Oh, no.
into sports journalism. Please roll the tape.
okay. I had that mustache in college. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only fitting that we actually play Notre Dame this week. So, are you going back to the game?
The Fighting Doberman Pinscher Genitalias. Yes.
Tell me you got that, Jim. Tell me you got
Yes.
that. It's going out to everyone.
No, I remember improvising that day so that it would live in perpetuity and make fun of Notre Dame
That's
forever.
perfect.
Yeah.
Nicely
But yeah, I
done.
am going to the game. So
Nicely done. Fight on.
if anyone knows of if anyone's got a room I could shack up with, I still never made any lodging reservations, so. Or not.
Or not. So let's talk about when you guys first met. When did you first meet, and where were you at USC?
I think I actually met him freshman year on the dorm floor down by San Bernardino
Oh, okay.
in
Yeah.
Trojan Hall.
Trojan Hall,
And thinking
yeah.
that, I remember seeing, I think he was wearing like orange Converse high tops and some goofy shirt, and I'm thinking, oh God, who's this guy? So that
Yeah,
was my
there were-
first impression. Yeah.
There were a number of baseball players who lived on my floor, and yeah, we probably met then, but I don't think we really got
We
to
didn't
know
know
each
each
other
other, no.
until,
I don't think we wanted to.
yeah. No, it was not, we did not like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we probably started hanging out junior
Yeah.
year?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys were in the same house?
Correct.
Which house? And
Delta Todd Delta.
Delta,
Mm-hmm.
Tau Delta? That's represented, obviously. And what were your initial impressions of
Three people,
Will?
I think. We got
Just three of us.
3 guys.
Yeah.
The chapter only has 5. So that's over 60% of the house. Yeah. What was the question?
No, when you first, well, let's share a couple stories from college, when life was carefree and maybe we weren't as smart. Do you remember anything about Will doing something with the Sigma Chi house as a joke?
I believe he wore a pledge pin on campus for,
right.
and I think you went full beard and made yourself look like you were from like Oklahoma or
Yeah. I somehow either stole or found a Sigma Chi pledge pin and wore it for a good 2 weeks before someone from the Sigma Chi house tracked me
Didn't
down.
like it.
Didn't like it.
I mean, he had the audacity
Yeah.
to like go there and have dinner at the Sigma Chi house as a Sigma Chi.
Even though I was already a Delta. Yeah.
And there's this other story that has trickled down through the ages that maybe the scene in Old School where we're going streaking through the quad may have been semi-autobiographical. Any truth to that?
I can't remember.
We have a tape. No. But fortunately, your friend does remember. What happened, Craig?
Well, we used to put on the, I think it was inter-fraternity volleyball championship
Yeah.
at the Deld House back when we were on Adams. We had a big sand volleyball court,
Yeah.
and we used to get 500-600 people in our backyard and had the TV news there. And one fraternity brother of mine decided that it would be really funny to not have his clothes on during the championship match on the court itself, doing moves completely naked, that actually we had a really serious volleyball player in our house that was not happy with you for
As
doing
I
that in the middle.
disrupted, the final.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
literally championship point.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we had these slats that go up the side of the house that I scaled and crawled into an open window, and I had to go to the bathroom really bad. Had to pee. And the bathroom was being used. So there was only one other place to go to the bathroom.
Where?
Onto the court. Yeah. Yeah.
That is not funny, guys. People
Onto
get
the court.
expelled for that now.
Yeah.
So who is
Yeah, it
more?
was a little different then.
So who is more?
By the way, we couldn't get into the school. now.
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's no way.
It's quite competitive.
It's a much different place. Yeah.
So who is more relieved that there weren't cell phone cameras and the internet while you were in college, you or your wife?
Oh, I would have. My wife never would have married me if any of that stuff was documented. Yeah.
Well, let's turn back to Craig. So, your sophomore year, life's pretty good. You're playing baseball. Are you dating anyone at the time?
Yes, and my wife is out there. We met here at SC as freshmen.
Let's show a picture of the happy couple, the happy trio.
That's a good look there.
I just look like an idiot, you know? Yeah.
It has worked for you time and time again. So
Yeah.
life's good. You and Stacy are dating. You're playing baseball, and things turn. Can you share with us how they turned?
Yeah, I remember I was sitting in my apartment over off of Hoover and Adams in Troyland Apartments, and got a phone call from my mother. I used to have to go back every 6 months for blood tests, and I could just tell when I picked up the phone by the tone of her voice that the cancer was back. I didn't really ask anything about it. I think I just said literally, "Is it back?" And she said yes. I said I didn't want to talk about it. I remember hanging up because it was right about 12:30, 12:45 in the afternoon because we had to be at practice by 1, and I just got on my bike and went to practice.
And this time, what was the diagnosis and treatment regimen?
Yeah, and so I went back to the doctor and had to get, went to Stanford because they had seen more lymphoma patients than any other hospital. And they basically told me that my cancer had spread and that they were going to prescribe basically 2 years of chemotherapy for me with a new therapy that was had a lot harsher side effects than I had gone through before. But since it had spread, they had to kind of go full force after it.
So you went to the City of Hope?
Yeah, well, from there, I went through about 3 or 4 months of chemotherapy, and I was kind of ready to fight it. I'd taken out a piece of paper and put it on behind my bed, and I wrote the numbers 1 through 24, representing the number of chemo treatments I was going to have, and I wrote "kick its ass" below it. And after about 4 treatments, my white blood cell count got so low that they could no longer treat me. So we went back to Stanford. Make a long story short, they told me my best chance for survival was a bone marrow transplant, and that there was 2 or 3 hospitals that performed them at the time. And so I went around with my parents to the hospitals, and this crowd will love this. We went to UCLA first, and didn't like it at all, treated me like a number, and went to City of Hope in Duarte and kind of knew that that was the right place. And so I ended up having my bone marrow transplant there in June of 1988.
And you did share with me that this was, for someone with such an indomitable spirit, this was a low point for you. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine yourself, you're in college, you're at the height of, you think your life, and you're got everything going for you. I'm on the baseball team, I'm in a fraternity, I'm dating this great gal, and it all got taken away from me in a matter of, 30 days. And I really, for the first time in my life, I was really afraid that I was going to die.
And you met a doctor, Stephen Foreman, and can you just share the story with them about how he may have not just helped you recover, but just also psychologically the turning point?
I mean, the part of it, you're back then, and it's still to this case today, the bone marrow transplants, they give you a lethal dose of chemotherapy, and you're sitting in basically an incubation room. If you can imagine, you're like a boy in the bubble, and you're just waiting for your white blood cells to come back, and so you can't see a lot of people. And I was really down at the time because I wanted to be back where you guys are in school and going to class and hanging out with your friends. And 1988 was a great year for the Dodgers. I'm a diehard Dodger fan, and my doctor was too, or is. And he came into my room. I remember it was like 11 o'clock at night in the hospital, and he was way past his rounds and working, and he came in and sat on my bed. We watched 2 innings of a Dodger game. He just sat there, and he put his hand on my leg and says, "I'm going to get you back out on that field," and just walked out of the room. Yeah, and we're still very good friends today.
Meanwhile, to contrast what I was going through at that same moment, I couldn't get the right book for my class, and I was so pissed. But I had learned to light my farts on fire, so I was going through crazy stuff.
It was
too.
tough.
Yeah.
You made it.
Everyone has their struggles. They're pretty much parallel.
Yeah.
So I actually spoke with Dr. Foreman and invited him. And true to form, he was working late and with patients, but he did share a couple stories and just said how inspiring you were to him as a patient. For anyone who's seen a bone marrow transplant, it is as grueling a procedure as you can possibly endure. And I bring it up to say, how long after you had a bone marrow transplant were you back at USC?
I think it was like 60 days. Mom, Dad, you're out there. How many days was it? 60 days.
So in 2 months from a bone marrow transplant, you're back at school, and in what condition are you?
Dr. Foreman did not want me to go back to school, but I felt like I had missed enough, and so I went back to school, and I was bald and was having to wear a mask the first couple months back into school.
And you sort of took one last shot at baseball, and when did you decide that maybe baseball wasn't for you?
Well, I think it was really when I was in the hospital, and I realized I had actually made a promise to God when I was in the hospital. I said if I got out of here alive, I was going to make a difference in the world, and I really wasn't sure what that was going to be. I originally thought wanted to be a doctor, and then I took my first organic chemistry class, and after about 2 weeks, I was like, I got to get out of here. Yeah, doctor was not for me. And so then, it's when I came back to SC and decided to get into the business school and realized that baseball wasn't the passion anymore.
And you came through the entrepreneur program.
I did, yes.
Nicely done.
Yes.
We're going to talk about your business plan as a senior and what you built from that in a little bit more. Will, let's turn to you.
But meanwhile, just so you know, all of us who are friends have no idea. Craig kind of keeps this all to himself. So you generally knew, hey, that's Craig Pollard. Oh, he had cancer, but that was it. And so no one, I didn't find out till way after we'd gotten out of school, just how delicate a balance the whole thing was. Yeah.
It's just, it's unbelievable what you've gone through. So let's flip to comedy. Early stand-up, you're graduating, you're out there hustling. Some of your local gigs, how many people are in the audience as you're first starting out?
Well, I would have a little phone list of people that I would call to ensure that it wasn't just me standing up on stage with a microphone. And Craig and Stacy were on that list, and so they saw me in some amazing, amazing places doing amazing comedy. I think
the barn in Tustin.
the barn in Tustin,
Yeah,
which was literally a barn.
right. The cannery.
The cannery in Newport Beach,
Yeah.
which was literally a cannery at one point. Nino's in Long Beach,
yeah.
where they had
Yep.
bowls of Italian fruit hanging from the ceiling. Terrible
So,
places.
so small audience of your friends.
Small ones.
We have a quote from noted comedy critic Bob Pollard, Craig's
Yes.
dad.
Yes.
After seeing your show at the Cannery in
Right.
Newport Beach in 1991,
Right.
he said, Craig, what was the review?
I think and Dad, remind me if this is correct, but I think it was something to the fact that I hope that boy has another career, another way to make money.
And Bob was right. It was not good stuff. Yeah, it was not good stuff.
From there, you went on to work with the Groundlings?
I had, while I was here at SC, I had always heard about the Groundlings, which is over on Melrose there. And I think my senior year, I finally went and saw a show, and I went with some friends, and that was the moment where I knew that's what I wanted to do. I saw, it was an evening of sketch comedy with improv, and I think Lisa Kudrow was in the cast at that time, and I'm trying to think who else, but I had seen the legacy of that place. A lot of people had gone on to do sitcoms and films and Saturday Night Live, and they had a school, and I thought maybe I'll try one of their introductory classes. So I went through their entire program, and that's where I was when Saturday Night Live was looking to recast.
So you came on or had the opportunity for Saturday Night Live when they were really adding a lot of cast members.
Yeah.
How did the audition come about? And then we're going to talk about that for a second.
Well, the word was out that it was the season before was the last season for Chris Farley and Adam Sandler and David Spade and Mike Myers and that whole crew. They were literally cleaning house, and they were going to hire, I think, eight or nine new cast members, and the word was out that they were doing a nationwide search, and that the Groundlings was one of the places they were coming. So they flew 4 of us out to New York, and you had to audition in 8H, which is the studio where Saturday Night Live is shot, and you had to do 5 to 8 minutes of an audition that you just make up to an empty studio with just a simple spotlight and a camera, and Lorne Michaels just in the shadows, and he purposely sets it up so no one laughs, so you feel the pressure of what live television is like.
Well, we, for those of us who've seen the audition, it's just epic. You did Harry Carey.
Right.
You did Kids Get Off the Shed, which
Right.
you made into a Saturday Night sketch. But this one, we laugh at every single time we watch it. This is brilliance. Take a look at Will and his audition.
You're thinking, how did I get hired after that?
You actually heard...
Bob Pollard was right. Jeez. No, that was my second audition, actually.
It was?
Yeah, because they asked you to come back with more stuff. So I'd done a sketch at the Groundlings about a guy who worked in an office, but when he wasn't taking calls, he played with cat toys. But in that context, it looks absolutely insane. Yeah. But there I was in that void, that laughless void, playing with cat toys in my mind going, this is over. This is it. Yeah. I can always be a substitute teacher. I mean, yeah.
But if you watch that audition and you listen, at the end of it, you hear the camera people just start busting up. They can't even hold it in anymore.
Thank God.
It's just,
My dad was operating camera that day. Yeah.
so I think this is where everyone relates to you. And that's, your most distinguishing characteristic is the risk. And you are willing to do anything and humiliate yourself in order to get to that. But
What are you talking about?
that may not have came out exactly. May not have come out. But
You
no,
are
the
such
idea
an
of,
ass. unbelievable.
But what would you say his what differentiates Will from most other comedic actors?
Well, I don't know if I'm the right guy to answer that. I mean, he just had confidence to do things that other people just wouldn't do. Probably thought about doing, but just didn't do it.
But is your approach, I mean, do you think about, in business, in anything, you have to risk good to be great. You really have to almost throw it away. And that line may not be apparent to you when you're doing it.
Right. But
So-
you have to dive in, yeah. And there's no one, there's really, it's not like you have a source or a confidant or someone who if you could bounce ideas off in terms of when it comes to comedy. And you really just have to believe in it and think, you know what, I think this could work. But that's what was, I mean, in a weird way, my time here at school was really a stage for me to get to try my obscure way of thinking. And I would constantly, I was our song chairman for the
For the fraternity.
for the fraternity. So every Monday you have chapter, and all the positions that are actually relevant give a report. But I decided we needed a song report, but I had class on Monday, so I would tape my song report and have him play it in front of chapter.
The Casey Kasem.
Yeah, I would do, just bizarre things, and I would hear back that, oh, that was hilarious, it killed. I'm like,
Our
really?
chapter meetings, normally weren't that well attended, but when they knew Will had a tape for that meeting, it was packed. Yeah.
So, and I would also do things, our buddy Emil was kind of my shill. I would, because I had a work-study job at the humanities AV department, and I was a very good employee. If you needed a Spanish language cassette tape, I was your man. But I could just leave that job and no one noticed, and so I knew where all these guys would sit.
VKC steps.
VKC steps around lunchtime, and I would tell our friend Emil, I'm like, right around 12:15, I'm going to push an overhead projector across campus, and I'm just going to have my pants slightly down so you see my butt crack, and I want you to just start going, look at that guy. What is that guy doing? And it would incite a riot where people would go, yeah, what is that guy doing? I don't like that guy. And I would just slowly push this overhead projector. And those were moments where like, oh, this is working. Yeah, this is actually. But yeah, you have to be willing to kind of risk everything to have success.
And you've done that over the years at SNL for, 6-7 years. All the characters we know, Alex Trebek, Janet Reno, Neil Diamond, James Lipton, George W. What was the first name of the Spartan cheerleader?
Craig.
Coincidence or homage?
Accidents.
It was based on your
It was my talent.
physical ability.
Yeah, exactly.
As a cheerleader.
Your life
Yeah.
story, as interpreted. From SNL, you went on to make some great movies while you were at SNL. Night at the Roxbury, to Zoolander, featured some roles where you really sort of had scene-stealing parts. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Then, of course, in 2003, the juggernaut Old School. Elf, Anchorman, Talladega Nights, Blades of Glory, Step Brothers, plus Austin Powers' Wedding Crashers in The Campaign. Is that enough? Jeez.
You forgot the other guys.
Yeah.
And a couple porns I shot down in Mexico. But let's leave it off the list.
We'll skip to that. Interesting thing, great
You gotta risk. Yeah. Gotta take risks.
Yeah.
It's a 40-foot screen. But more than an actor, you're also a producer. You've produced Anchorman, Talladega Nights, Blades of Glory, Step Brothers. You're a producer of Eastbound and Down. Do you like the business side as well?
You know, my writing partner Adam McKay and I, started a production company 4 or 5 years ago, and we enjoy kind of fostering talent and giving giving fellow comedians a shot to kind of succeed in with projects that are of the same shared taste. And so I think we say no to a lot of stuff, but some of Eastbound and Down is like a prime example of Danny McBride is hilarious, and they had such a funny idea, and just to be able to open some doors for original content is kind of our goal.
But you also come up with concepts. Which of the concepts did you come up with for some of the movies?
Anchorman and Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, we wrote all 3 of those, in addition to Anchorman 2 that's coming out December 18th.
You know it.
And write a fair amount of the stuff as well.
So you've been an entrepreneur and a producer. Your first entrepreneurial venture was a highly diversified multinational professional services firm, Prestige Worldwide.
Prestige Worldwide, yeah.
What happened with that, and why did it not work out?
We grew too quickly. We tried to do too much too fast, because you're talking entertainment, security, catering, Spider-Man, you name it. What was that? Black leather gloves, yeah. So we should have just done, do one thing and do it really well, and we got away from that.
That's right. Had you been in the entrepreneur program, you would have learned, start with a niche, know that very well, and then grow from there.
And then grow from there.
But that, you have to fail in order to succeed.
But we learned that, yeah.
And you've also had the chance to work with, other SC people. A lot of people from the film school are prominent in Hollywood. Talk about, working with some of your fellow grads, Judd Apatow, for example.
We've done a number of films with Judd, who kind of, really helped us with we teamed up with him for the first Anchorman, and done a number of movies. I did The Campaign with Jay Roach, who I think still teaches here on occasion. I met John Singleton once. That was cool.
Before their time. Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the
Hood.
Yeah. Who else? LeVar Burton, Reading Rainbow. Before your time. A couple laughs.
And has the Trojan family sort of been important throughout your career, or you've seen a lot of people that have graduated from here in your career? I think?
You kind of meet so many different people in the entertainment world. It's not, you definitely run across people from SC throughout it. I don't know if I've had any crucial connections in that regard. So, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
This is why we have a talk beforehand, to skip past those. Let's talk. So a lot of your movies, you.
Oops.
We'll cut that out.
I would save it.
Yeah, a lot of your movies, you play an athlete, and Craig said you're a pretty good athlete. High school football, what position did you play?
I was the kicker. Yep.
6'3". Did you go straight forward? Were you Mark Mosley? Tom Dempsey?
I did more of an Efren Herrera style.
From Sidewinder?
Yeah.
So.
I was a soccer style kicker, and let's see, we were 1-8-1 my senior year, but I was 5 for 7.
There you go.
Field goals, accurate, very accurate. I tried to walk on here at USC, and we did a couple kickoffs, and the coaches said, "Okay, that's good enough."
It's funny you mentioned that. We've seen you playing hoops in semi-pro. We've seen you playing baseball as Rojo Johnson, pitching for the Round Rock Express. We've seen you coaching Ryan Khalil. How would you describe your athletic talents?
I would say that I'm super underrated. I still get, a lot of attention from colleges because I haven't used any of my eligibility yet. I run like a 10, 12, 40 with a 3-inch vertical. But I've got a lot of heart, and I see the game 3 steps ahead from my television set with the aid of instant replay. But I would have to say I'm like a sleek gazelle out there.
That's so we have a mutual friend.
Why is everyone laughing?
We have a mutual friend. Let's hear how he described your football prowess in my class a few years ago. Let's roll the tape.
You don't know this one, but years ago in the first Rose Bowl, we'd had just great practices. Everything was going beautifully. We were practicing here on campus, and it would be like the Thursday before the Saturday game. It was a couple days before the game. We were gonna have our last big team period, and I told the guys in the meeting. I said, "Hey, I got a call from one of the guys in the fraternities, and he says he's a heck of a player. He's got great hands, and he thinks he could help us beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl." And I said, "Fellas, hey, you all want to win, right?" And they kind of go, "Yeah." Well, hey, if this guy can help us win, screw it. Let's bring him on. We'll let him do it. So be good to him. Give him a chance. Okay, ready, break. Let's go to practice. So we go to practice. Hey, what the heck's he talking about? And I've tried to be as serious as I could. And so right near the end of practice, I'm stalling because he's late. But I look up, and way across the practice field, the gate opens up, and here comes this golf cart. And there's this guy in full uniform, helmets on, full pads and everything. And got a little driver driving the cart for him. And I say, "Hey, wait a minute, here he comes, you guys. Here he comes." As he comes driving out, it's Will Ferrell in full uniform. He's got the chin strap buckled, the whole thing, and it's got Ferrell across the back, the whole thing. And so, so they're having fun with that. I thought, I said, this is real. He's going to play. He's an SC student. Let's go. Let's go. Matt, get him in the huddle. Let's go 842 amigo. You're at X. If you're going deep, let's go, Ferrell. Let's see what you can do. And ready, break. And so he goes in the huddle, and they call it. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. and we got the word to the corner, don't touch him. Whatever you do, don't touch him. And he runs a deep route, and Matt sets back and throws the ball, and sure enough, he catches it right at the edge of the end zone, and kind of stumbles. He catches it, falls in the end zone, and then he was uncontrollable from that moment on. You can picture him like in old school, running naked. He was looking like a ball, the whole thing. He went crazy.
So, do you have anything to say about that?
Can I just defend myself, actually? That Matt Leinart underthrew me completely, and that I had totally burned the DB, but and that's what made me stumble. But I did make the catch.
You did make the catch.
Yeah. There was a lot of talk that day. A lot of people
and
hearing footsteps. The new guy.
And is Pete Carroll really a good judge of football talent?
You know what? Pete has no idea. I mean, he wouldn't know a good football player if it walked up to him and bit him in the ass, So
here we go.
I think that's been proven time and time again. Yeah.
We've got. Hey, you got a connection for us?
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this opinion.
What?
Hey, it's Pete. Hold on.
Hey, big. I've seen you in the field, and I've seen criticism, and if you, I'd see this. You got very little, and no hop.
I've got a lot of hops. Okay. I've got more hops than you'll ever have. You're coming back here to coach, right? I love it.
He's coming back to coach. I think he's coming back to coach.
All right, Pete, thanks for jumping in. I know he was a big part of your program here. You guys had a lot of fun together. And congratulations on the Seahawks 5-1. We're all cheering for you from SC. Fight on, Pete. Fight on, Pete.
Like, say one thing, I know this is a big night for celebrating Craig, and I know about his story, and he's inspired a lot of people. That's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and fight on, everyone. Thanks for having us. Go for it.
Thanks, Pete.
You had some good times with him.
We did. We had some good times. But I'm excited about Ed Orgeron, right? Yeah. You love that guy? We're going to get out there. We're going to run around. We're going to wrestle alligators before practice. Eat some po' boys.
I'm sure you'll be getting a call from him soon, but it's you've been such
I don't
big...
think he has a neck. I think it's just chin and... Yeah.
Oh,
I'm thinking about having my neck removed
To look
more like Eddie O.
Let's go back to cancer for college. Yeah,
Let's go back.
Segue.
smooth transition and segue.
Let's go back.
But let's talk about that.
Tell me about what it's like to get cancer. You took cancer, you get out of my body. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
After this segment, we're going to open it up to students to ask questions, good questions, not "Can I be in your next movie?" questions. So let's talk about cancer for college. Where and when did the idea start?
Well, when I made that decision, or the professor in my organic chemistry class made that decision that I wasn't going to go the doctor route, I decided to volunteer for a camp in LA called Camp Good Times. It's a camp for kids with cancer. And when I volunteered, they had a parent visitation night. And the parents were coming up to me saying how great it was that I was in college, gone through cancer, and the thought of them even thinking about putting money away for a college education was not, you couldn't even realize it, because at the time, treatments like bone marrow transplants were not 100% covered by insurance, and in that time they were $600,000-$700,000. So that's kind of when the light bulb went on that I could do something to raise money to help these kids get a chance to have the opportunity that we all had to come to a school like this. And so I came back to school that next semester and got into the USC Entrepreneur Program. And when they taught us how to write a business plan, my girlfriend and now my wife actually bought me a book on how to start a nonprofit in the USC bookstore, and that's how it all started.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the business plan won a prize at our annual awards banquet.
It did,
And
yeah.
some alums even kicked in some money.
They did, and from the very beginning, you know, guys like, I mean, the joke is, I think we still have a copy of a check that Will gave me back in like 1992 for $50. Yeah, we did cash it, but yeah. Yeah.
And so alums helped fund it. What was your first event and how much did it raise? What year?
I had 24 people in a golf tournament. I barbecued hot dogs and hamburgers in my backyard. We raised $500 and we gave out one scholarship to, I still remember, Jerry Cervantes that went to UCSB. Yeah.
That's great. And what's, you know, as Will's career has taken off, he's stayed involved with the charity. What's been his role?
You know, more than just being his celebrity and spending his time and giving his money. I mean, he sits on our board. You know, we just had a board meeting last week, but he's really the reason we went from excuse my French, a crappy barbecue and raising $500 to now giving out, you know, over almost 2,000 scholarships and nearly $2 million. And we wouldn't have gotten anywhere near that.
And in addition to golf tournaments, you have a product line that features Mr. Ferrell. Mr. Ferrell, why sunscreen?
Because it's delicious. Sunscreen, well, you have to protect yourself from the deadly rays of the sun. And yeah, Craig came to me and said, "You've always dreamed of owning your own lotion company, haven't you?" And
Here we are.
here we are. Yeah.
And you know, as luck would have it, my sister owns a lotion company, so if you ever need this made, we actually can make it. Is this you, or did you get a stunt body?
I got a body double. That this friend of ours, Emil, we keep talking about, that's his luscious behind right there. Yeah, yeah, that's Emil. And but Craig, you were approached by a company in Colorado. Was that
That
the
manufactures
yeah,
it.
manufactures that?
It's
And-
actually a really good sunscreen.
Yeah.
It's made by a bunch of triathletes that make it, and so we use them
and,
here.
and they were willing to produce it and allow us to keep the proceeds. So this is it actually sells
works.
really well
Yeah.
and works.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah.
a stupid thing. Yeah. And it's cinnamon. It's the only cinnamon flavored sunscreen you're going to find on the market. No, I mean Craig's tried to get it in the big box stores, but they've been a little.
We've gotten the Heisman from them because they were
Yeah.
concerned that they would outsell Coppertone and some of their brands to give them a lot of co-op dollars. But he took this on. Was it Jimmy Fallon that took it on first,
Yeah.
or was it? And we sold 20,000 bottles in, I think it was 2 or 3 days on the internet from when he went on there. Which all the money goes to scholarships. So, I mean, it basically added, another $100,000 in scholarships to the kids.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, Will's been active in the golf tournaments. Your wife also acts as the auctioneer at some of the live auctions. So it's a family affair. You expanded Cancer for College to provide scholarships beyond students with cancer. Can you share the reason for that expansion?
Yeah, about 7 years ago, I contracted a bacterial infection, and I went septic due to the fact that I had taken my spleen out, and I had kind of reduced immune system. And it again caused me to go septic. In order to keep me alive, they had to give me these medication called vasopressors because it constricts all the blood vessels to your appendages, but keeps your heart and lungs going. And in the process of that, I had to have my legs amputated below my knees. And as we were wheeling me into the surgery room, I looked at my wife and I said, I guess we're going to be giving out scholarships to amputees now. And 6 months later, we gave out our first scholarship to an amputee. Yeah.
I feel like an idiot. I had no idea you don't have any legs. I just realized that now, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Not a good night for me.
So observant. Acutely aware of what's going on around you at all times. But you were back, months later after that operation, you were back for the tournament for...
In fact, I witnessed a moment when we were at the tournament, we were signing people in, and once again, Craig doesn't tell anyone this has happened to him. And there's some guy who's signing in who says, you know what, Craig, I'm here, but I kind of pulled my calf muscle. So I don't know if I can go today. Craig gets up, walks around the table in his shorts, showing off his robotic legs, and goes, "Oh, really? You got to pull the calf muscle?" All right. Well. And the guy goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll play. Yeah, I'm good." But it was fantastic. Yeah.
It's just awe-inspiring what you've been through and what you've come through and the message that you have. You recently had a comedy concert, the Comedy Explosion, hosted by Will Ferrell and friends. Where was that concert?
That was down in San Diego at the San Diego Civic Auditorium. Civic Theater. Yeah.
Discovered by the Germans.
In 1904. Yes.
Absolutely. And to date, how many scholars and how much have you awarded? Just so we know.
We're approaching 2,000 scholarship winners, and a little over $2 million will hit this year.
That's impressive. That is impressive. Thank you. And what's your vision and long-term goal for the charity? Where do you want to see this go, and how can we help?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that pediatric cancer is kind of one of the cancers that gets the least amount of funds, and the least amount of notoriety, if you will. And there's about 13,000 new diagnoses each year. And so we're giving out on average between 100 to 250 scholarships per year based on our budget. And so we're not even tapping, 1% of the potential market for these kids. And so it's really frustrating for us, getting all these applications in, and we can only feed a certain amount. So we're on a real, mission right now to get ourselves to a $10 million foundation in 5 years, and hopefully a $20 million in 10 years. And so the bottom line is, that's what we're kind of doing right now, so that we can someday be able to award scholarships to anybody that has cancer.
And we hopefully, we will help you get there. What, what is the purpose and the mission, and what drives you after all of this that you've been through? What's sort of your guiding philosophy in life in doing this work?
Yeah, I mean, I think from being in the hospital, realizing that when you've been on your deathbed, unfortunately for me now 3 times, that it's not about, what you have, it's about the people you love, and really it's about making a difference in the world is kind of the way I feel about the charity. And I just feel like our charity is kind of a pay it forward thing, because all the kids that apply for the scholarships and award all want to go out and make a difference in the world. They've, whether you look at it as a blessing or not, you kind of realize that this life is, finite. And there's only a certain window of opportunity you have out there to make a difference. And when we see these applicants, it's like, you want to give money to all of them, because we know they're going to go out there and either be a nurse, a doctor, some sort of profession that they're going to go out there and make a difference. And that kind of what motivates me. We sit down in a room and read these applications, for a couple of months, going through and grading them and reading them, and it inspires me every day, being a part of I keep some of the applications in my desk. Whenever I get in a frustrated mood or something in the office, I just pull it out and look at it and go, that's what we're here to do today. So
that's great. That's great. Well, let's open it up to some questions from students. We have mics in the front aisles here. Students only. Questions for Craig and Will. We'll do this for about 20 minutes. Step right up. Yes, please. And your name and your grade or your class.
Hi, my name is Maiklin. I'm a sophomore here. And my question is for Will, and I am dying to know, what is your favorite character that you have played?
Well, I feel very lucky in that, I've truly had so much fun doing literally every movie that I've gotten to do, or whether it be on Saturday Night Live and that sort of thing. I mean, if I have to pick one, Ron Burgundy and Anchorman was such a tough battle to get that movie made. I think we literally had 10 production companies and studios in one day decline to do the movie, and it took us about 3 years to get anyone to read the script. And so to actually finally make it, and then to watch it have this kind of following, and that's very satisfying to me. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next question on this side.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank you to both of you, especially Craig, for sharing your story today. My question is for Will. I just wanted to know if you... I wanted to get your opinion on if you think your portrayal of George Bush affected the public's perception of the man.
I've been told that it did. When you're kind of in the vortex of doing that, how quickly we forget that, we didn't have a president there for a month, and we were just Daryl Hammond, who was doing Al Gore, and myself. It was we were just basically doing these comedy characters. You kind of forget when you're on a show like Saturday Night Live that the people you portray are actually real people, and that you might have effect on how things are perceived. But yeah, I've been told that I made him seem really likable and that like a guy you want to have a beer with, and I didn't actually think he would win. And
Win some, you lose some.
yeah, and he did, and ended up playing him for. But you know what? I don't really sit back and analyze that too much. Yeah.
I'm wondering, you're from Orange County, playing that role, active in Democratic circles. Are you allowed to go back to Orange County anymore?
I have an easy pass. Yeah. So, little toll road joke.
Yeah, 73.
Yeah.
Next question, please.
Okay, hi, my name is Danielle, and I'm a sophomore. My question's for Craig. How bad was OChem, and do you regret going into business?
I'm sorry, what?
How bad was OChem, and do you regret going into business instead? Because I'm pre-med, and I'm really contemplating it right now.
Run to Hoffman Hall right now. I mean, the entrepreneur program, I was, actually a fraternity brother of ours was already in the program, and he invited me to one of the classes, and I was hooked from that standpoint. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Come to Marshall.
Yeah.
Come to Marshall. Question over here.
Hi, my name is Boca. I'm a freshman. My question's for Mr. Ferrell, or can I call you Will?
Yeah, sure. Call me
Cool.
Will.
All right. Hey. All right.
You can call me Dave if you want.
All right, Dave.
In
My
fact,
question.
if you have a question for me from now on, please call me Dave. For the rest of the night.
All right, so Dave, you played a lot of comedic roles, and I'm wondering, in your personal life, do people have a harder time taking you seriously when you're delivering real news? I wouldn't be able to, if you told me I'm on fire right now, I'm like, oh, Dave.
That's why I never give anyone real news. Yeah. No, you know what? I do find when I meet people in public, because, I might be with my kids, I might be running around doing something, and there is an expectation level that you're going to be funny all the time, and I'm continually letting people down. Yeah.
Question on this side.
Hi, my name is Renee. I'm a senior. Should I call you Will or Dave?
It's Dave. Yeah.
Just checking. Like you mentioned earlier, that you maybe taken some parts of your life and put them in your films, but I was wondering if you ever plan on making a project that's mainly autobiographical, or are any of your previous characters kind of autobiographical about your life?
I mean, other than Old School, there was some autobiographical moments there that were already written in the script, so I knew I was perfect for the part. Yeah. But no, I kind of really love the roles I get to do as a chance to be someone I'm not, and it's a chance to kind of explore that, as opposed to I don't think anything about my life would be that interesting. So,
It seemed pretty interesting.
other than my antique pistol collection, which is gorgeous.
Okay, thanks.
No, thank you. Very satisfied with that answer, I can tell. Yeah.
Next question.
Hi, Dave. I'm Jessie.
Hi.
I have to ask, as it's a bit of an urban legend, but did you really get kicked out of DTD for flooding the basement and trying to kayak on it?
I did not. No. No, yeah. We
didn't even have a basement.
We don't have a basement, yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
You can address him as Will, so that on the internet, when people show this clip, it will make sense. But
all right. Well, we're all trombones in the trombone section in the marching band. We're going to be at the game this weekend, the Notre Dame game. Can you pay us a visit while you're there? We'd love to see you.
You get a field pass?
I mean, the rules have changed as to access to the field since certain sanctions were put in place.
Stands.
Yeah.
We have a place.
We'll be in Chicago all weekend.
I'll try to find you guys. What hotel are you guys staying at?
Marriott.
They haven't told us yet.
The airport Radisson?
Not that one, no.
We don't know.
Because that's where I'm going to be at, the airport Radisson.
Airport Radisson. All right.
But not O'Hare, Midway. Yeah.
Southwest. You're flying
Yeah.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. You save about $50
Southwest,
to go to
yeah.
Midway.
I make about 6 connections. I go Portland, Seattle, Phoenix, Burbank, change planes, Minneapolis, back to Burbank, Chicago, and it's $30, so it's worth it.
And bags are free.
Bags are free. Trombone section.
Yes.
Fight on. We'll see you.
I'll try
South Bend.
to find you guys.
All right,
Fight on.
guys.
Fight on.
Next question.
Hi, my name is May, and my question is for Craig. Just as a social entrepreneur, we know that your goal is to aim to inspire. Other than telling your own passions, your own stories, how do you inspire others through using your passion? And who did you find are most receptive to these passions?
Wow, I get the tough questions. You
know.
get the easy ones. You know, I think the great thing about our charity is that we have so many, almost 2,000 kids now, and they all have amazing stories. You know, we have a current, scholarship winner that is now a nurse in the oncology wing that she, was treated at. And so them going out and continuing to be inspirations for the charity to tell the story, not just me, but now there's, like I said, 1,700 plus kids that can tell our story, and that works for our inspiration.
How about when you just started off? Who did you talk to who are the most supportive to you?
It was really one of those things where it was my USC connections. It was my fraternity brothers coming to our small events, and then it just growing. And really, the deal with him when he did Old School and came to our event when we were only giving out maybe about $5,000 or $10,000 a year in scholarships, and he did Old School. I don't know if you remember this when you spoke at Palamesa Resort, and he was telling about the streaking story at Old School, and that through my for-profit business, in a wholesale distribution business, I had a lot of my vendors at the event that supported the charity just because, I bought stuff from them, so I kind of leveraged them to attend the event. And then when Will hit it big, all of a sudden, all of my vendors and other vendors wanted to be a part of our events, and that's really how we've grown so fast. I mean, I'd love to be able to say there was something I did magical, but it's sitting right here. I mean, the reality of it is that with his popularity, it exposed people to what we do. And then I think the people that came there saw these stories of these kids, and that inspired them to want to continue to support it, regardless of whether he's there or not. We have a lot of corporate and individual support because they just love the story of what we do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Sorry about that. Thank you guys for coming. It's been awesome. So I'm sitting on the 7th row. I came with the lady sitting next to the man with the yellow shirt, who's actually a pretty good-looking guy. I've been seeing her for about 2 or 3 weeks.
He's gorgeous.
And
he's a great-looking guy.
He's a great-looking guy.
I think I'm in love with him.
It's been stressing me out the whole time. Can you give me the 5 easy steps to cracking the code that is the female heart?
You want to help me? Cracking the code that is the female heart?
My wife might be able to answer. Did I do it?
Number 1, you got to bathe. Okay? And V-necks do not work. V-neck t-shirts. That's 2. 3, I think poetry is coming back in vogue. So a lot of 10, 15-page poems. Take a lady to dinner and offer to pay with a coupon. They love that. 5th one.
It's your world.
Rinse and repeat, number 1 through 4. There you go.
That's back to personal hygiene. Yeah.
My roommate is actually starting a nonprofit. I think it has to deal with the families of those who die from cancer. And I guess my question to you is, what is there that you can't learn in a book from the USC bookstore about nonprofits and starting nonprofits that would be good to know in these beginning stages?
Yeah, I think a really good idea would be to go around and talk to other executive directors and people that are running other charities and find out, what they do well and what they do wrong. I still spend a lot of my time, talking to other, nonprofit organizations and finding out what's successful for them, because it's very hard to fundraise, in this environment, not only because of the economy, but because there's so much noise out there that you have. So I would really highly suggest going to talk to, other charities and what they're doing to be successful.
Next question.
Hi, my name's Lucas, and I'm a senior here. I spent my 4 years here in the Lane Kiffin era. So my question's for Will. I was wondering, based on your knowledge of sports information, who do you think should be the next head coach of the USC football program?
Both of you.
Who do you like? Wow. Maybe they don't have a coach. Save some money, I don't know. That's
Pat Hayden's job.
Yeah. I was up in Seattle this weekend, and I went to the Seahawks game, and I met Mike Holmgren. I don't know if you remember, Packers coach and Seahawks coach.
FC?
So I tried to convince him to come down. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we're fortunate to have Pat Hayden here, who cares so much about this university. He has no agenda other than to find the best coach.
Right. Exactly,
to
and you need to give Ed Orgeron his due time to see what can happen and go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, I am available. I will punt on second down. I just play a very conservative game. No quarterback.
Wildcat on every down.
Wildcat on every down. Yeah, it'll be exciting though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next question. We got a few more.
Hi, my name's Nathan. I'm a senior. My question's for Will. Regarding Funny or Die, I have a friend actually that works there, and I've heard great things about it, and I love your stuff. Why did you start it? I mean, you're so busy, you have so much going on, and it just seems like more on your plate. And I'm glad you did, but what really pushed you to do it?
Well, it was serendipity actually. We were approached by Mark Kwame, who was at Sequoia at the time, and it was basically an idea that they had, and they were looking for the right kind of combination of people to run it, and they approached myself and Adam McKay, and I think the story's getting revised every year. It's now in the 5th year of the site, but the real story is we were fairly ambivalent to the idea. We had seen other comedy sites come and go. We didn't understand. We couldn't figure out how are we going to get our friends to want to do comedy for free, and it just felt like I don't know if this is going to work, but we were afraid if we said no and someone else said yes, what if it did blow up? So we decided to take it on, and we got lucky with the landlord video, and that kind of put us on the map. And then once again, we've been fortunate in getting a great, talented team, there in place, and now it's of course kind of running itself and going on to produce.
That was my kind of second part of the question.
Yeah.
Is do you have any kind of role in it now, or do you still help produce the skits? I mean, of course, the landlord you were a part of.
I walk through our offices and I just yell at people randomly, just to keep them on your toes, because any sort of company, you want to have a certain amount of fear going on. I try to, we're more editors in a way now. It truly is. We're kind of amazed at the stuff that, we're just as much fans of the site who discover things for the first time as you guys. So when time permits, I'll come and do a piece, or we'll definitely call and send an email if we have an idea for a specific video that should be shot, and definitely participate in the board meetings and what the future of the site is and things like that.
Cool, thank you.
Does this set look familiar at all to you?
Between two giant ferns.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the amazing story of the site, is someone like Zach Galifianakis is like, hey, I've got this idea. I want to just have 2 ferns and a weird coffee table. We're going to shoot it like a bad cable access thing. And we're, great, let's do it. And it's on the site right away. And I think it's really a fun tangent for a lot of people in comedy and out of comedy to come and play around.
Oh, that Between Two Ferns is just,
Yeah,
it's indescribable.
it's
I'm
amazing.
sure it's going to go on to bigger and better things. I'm sure he could do, a show on HBO, a show anywhere he wants with that, but it's just perfect where it is.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
perfect content for the perfect site. Which side are we on? All right, let's go. Keep it going.
Hello, I'd like to say thank you for being here, and this is for Will. Some of the most impressionable moments for me is whenever you're on like an awards show and you're trying to present an award. Like I remember that one time specifically when you made it with Sacha Baron Cohen for 2 minutes, and I was wondering like, okay, and I was wondering like how does that work? Like, is it like, did it give you like a script and then you burn it like the backstage before you're going on stage, or is it like you just do it spontaneously? And also like, how is the art of like not giving a crap something you learn or something that is inherent within the human being?
It's a great question.
I think they're going to start teaching that class next semester, the art.
Upper division.
Upper division, okay, yeah. No, I mean, most of the time it's pretty well thought out. The case with Sasha, we worked all of that out. I just did a thing with at the Golden Globes with Kristen Wiig, where the premise was we were supposed to, as the presenter, have watched all the movies, and we talked about the movies in a way that clearly revealed that we had not seen any of them. That was something we were just doing off the top of our heads, because we didn't want anyone to steal it while we rehearsed it. So it's kind of a combination.
Excellent.
Thank you.
A couple more questions.
So my question is for Craig. So you talked a lot about how you used Will and his fame to grow your business. And seeing as I don't personally know Will Ferrell at all, really, I was wondering. I was kind of wondering, did you have any other advice for like starting your own business or other business? And Will, can I get your number?
My number? Yes, of course.
Working on the getting to know you thing.
Okay, yeah.
What was
I'm happy to have lunch with you.
What was the question besides, can I get your number?
So like, what kind of other advice would you have for people starting their own business besides just like networking and meeting Will Ferrell?
I had a passion because of what I went through. So, I mean, regardless of whether Will was who he became, even if he wasn't famous, I think he still would be a part of the charity, helping out as best he could. And I was going to do it either way. So the level of my success with the charity, I didn't know what it was going to become, but I was not going to stop. So I would say just persistence and not giving up on the goal. It's kind of what, and I'm just very fortunate that he ended up where he did.
All right, thanks.
Great. Last question, please.
My name is Robbie. I'm a sophomore. My question's for Dave. You've obviously worked with a lot of famous comedians, and I was just wondering which one you thought personally was the funniest that you'd worked with.
Gosh. Well, we talked about Zach Galifianakis. He's hilarious. So many of the non-comedians are actually some of the funny. Like John C. Reilly is as funny a guy as you'll ever come across, and that's kind of what we like to do in a lot of these movies is take actors that you haven't really seen in a comedic way and have them kind of explore something different, and they turn out to be as funny as any of us who are the comedians. So I'm trying to think. George W. Bush was really funny when I met him.
So fast. Sure he's not a bear or puma?
Sacha Baron Cohen, he's a funny guy. But you know what? We aren't kind of sitting around trying to make ourselves laugh either. So it's a little boring. Sorry. I mean, yeah.
You did great. All right, great questions, guys. Great questions. So I want to ask you guys a small favor. They call it the Trojan family for a reason. I want your help because I made a mistake. I screwed up. In the initial invitation that was going out for this event, we planned on charging a nominal fee, 10, 20 bucks, and then we were going to donate all the proceeds to Cancer for College. We sent out the notice, and for the first time ever, this place was oversubscribed in less than 24 hours. Shocker. So we didn't get a chance to do that. So if you can, we would like tomorrow, and I'll send you guys an email, to go on cancerforcollege.org. .org. Do you have the website there? If you have it handy, throw it up there. But if you can, whatever you can afford, 10, 20 bucks, let's see if we can raise $20,000 for Cancer for College. I know there's some alums here. I know there's some Entrepreneurs of the Year here, alums. So we're going to try and make this happen. But no one is bigger than everyone, and together, collectively, we could probably, there's 1,000 people here, 20 bucks a pop, we can get $20,000. So let's try and make this happen. Will you help me? Will you help me?
And you get a bottle of sunscreen for a $10 donation.
For a $10 donation, you get
a
this.
bottle of sunscreen.
Yes.
Yes.
That is $10 of value right there.
What's the retail value on that?
$10.
Oh.
So you
So
must
it's the
give
same.
20.
Yeah.
If you're getting $10 of value, give 20. I want to finish by thanking these guys for coming here. It really is something special when Craig reaches out through his friend and through Brian Sullivan, and this comes together pretty quickly, and it really is a special moment for the Marshall School, for the Greif Center, and for USC to welcome back two wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Trojans. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, I would like to get some help right now. Could I please welcome to the stage my partner at the Greif Center, the director of the Greif Center, Dr. Helena Ilirenko, and the namesake of the Greif Center, Mr. Lloyd Greif. Please welcome him up. Keep it going. Let's go. Was that the purposeful, slow walk to milk the applause up on stage? Man, you've learned so well. Well, we have a couple things to thank Craig and Will for coming, and first, Will. We have a tradition at the Entrepreneur Program in the Greif Center to give some cool awards. And I would dare say that our trophy for the Greif Center and our logo is probably better than a Heisman Trophy. It is just different. So, do you have our logo that you can put up there? If you can. These are the marching dots. So there are dots. They don't have it. There are a circle of dots, and there's one dot that stands out from the crowd, and that is the entrepreneur. And we've never given this award, and you'll see why. But this is to Will Ferrell. And the award reads, Funniest Trojan Alive. Will, please come on up.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. All four of us together. Heisman pose. Heisman pose. Perfect, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, I sort of promised Will that he's got a flight to catch to New York, a red eye, and so I promised I would get him out of here by like 8:50 since he's got to run to the airport. So let's sort of give Will a quick thank you. You want to say anything?
Well, actually, before I go, I have to just go backstage real quick, and then I want to
you want to come
Just,
back? Okay.
yeah, just,
hold on.
I don't want everyone to leave.
Okay, we've
so,
got, we,
so,
okay. All right,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
do your thing.
So if I can just,
we got to talk to
because I have
Craig.
something else I want to show them.
Okay,
that-
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Where, I don't know where to go.
This way. Okay. And
hey guys, thanks for doing
Craig,
this.
can you stay there for a second? So, I told you about our traditions of Entrepreneurs of the Year with Howard Schultz and Tom Barrack and Lloyd Greif and Steve Jobs and Sky Dayton and just really people that have come back and given so much. We also have an alumni Entrepreneur of the Year that we give to one of our graduates, and we give it each year. And as a faculty, we got together and talked about this. You know, just outside of this auditorium, if you look at the back of Tommy Trojan, you see there are 5 qualities of a Trojan: faithful, scholarly, ambitious, courageous, skillful, faithful, scholarly. If I say them out of order, I forget. I always have, faithful, yes, skillful, scholarly, ambitious, and courageous, and, underscore the courageous part. If there's anyone who embodies that Trojan spirit and our battle cry of fight on, it's Craig Pollard, our 2013 Alumni Entrepreneur of the Year. Craig.
Thank you very much. That was awful nice of you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice of you guys. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it.
Sit down, we'll talk about it. We've got a couple moments to talk. Whatever the hell Will's doing, we'll see that in a minute. But let's talk about the importance of USC and what you took from here when you graduated.
Yeah, I think it's almost more important to me now than it was even early on after I graduated, because I think whether we all go your separate ways and move to different states, different areas, but the one thing that's been really great for me is having the charity and having all of my fraternity brothers and other classmates that I met, whether it be in the entrepreneur program or whatever, come back annually to our big event in San Diego. And it's just really cool. And a lot of the guys were all wearing their USC hats or shirts in the golf tournament. And the comment that I really love to hear all the time is from people that didn't go to SC, and they're like, God, you guys are just a family. You guys are just always stick together. And it's true. I mean, it's just really cool that I graduated 20-something years ago, and I still have really good friends from what I made at USC. And it's hard because, like I said, you move away, but you just have that common bond, which is fantastic.
And hopefully you'll get back more often. I know you're in San Diego and you're running a business and a charity, but we want you back. And the next time we have you back, we get to really sort of dive in deeper to your business. Give people a couple minutes on Global Tour Golf and what it does.
Yeah, I mean, I started a golf company actually from the entrepreneur program as well. I wrote a business plan on inventing a product, and I invented the first product right out of college, and I got real lucky. I kind of snuck into a golf show, saw an empty booth space, and had a backpack with some prototypes of a product I had, put the product out on a table, and I got really lucky that the show next to us was this home show, and the head buyer for Home Shopping Network wanted to come over because he was tired of looking at all these female-based products, and he wanted to come over and look at some sports stuff. He was a golfer, and he saw my product, and he gave me his business card and told me he needed a dozen samples to run through quality control things, and I literally had 12 prototypes with me. I put them in a box and gave them to his assistant, and had nothing on the booth table. And security came up to me and asked me, where my badge was for the booth and what I was, how did I get in here? And I said, well, I just showed up and put my stuff out, and not realizing, I don't know if it was being naive or innocent, but it was like $15,000 to be in the show in a booth. And they said you could, there's 2 ways we can end this. You can either walk out of here casually, or we're going to escort you out. And so I, put my tail between my legs and walked out of there thinking, God, my first trade show, I'm in this industry I want to get into, in the golf industry, and I get kicked out. And a few weeks later, I got a purchase order from Home Shopping Network and started going on that for about a year and a half. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can you give us one sort of final point for 18 to 22-year-olds mainly in the audience, and sort of what to, if they're going to start a business, start a charity, what to sort of keep closest to heart?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best advice I got when in the entrepreneur program, the thing that I really enjoyed was having other entrepreneurs come in and speak to the class and kind of tell you their success stories and failures. And the one thing that always stuck home that I would listen to these people that would come speak was, choosing a career in something you're passionate about. And I've always been passionate about sports, and I really didn't have this focus of making a certain amount of money or doing something, but I knew I wanted to own my own business and be some way related to the sporting goods industry, and just kind of followed that path. And I know it's a cliche, kind of sometimes I really don't feel like I go to work every day. I mean, it's fun for me. I have this warehouse full of sporting goods products, and I love the stuff I have. I love what we sell. I love going to my customers. And I just love every day of what I do for a living besides just the charity. And I think that's what keeps me going every day.
That is just great advice. That is just great. We are so proud to have you come back to the program, and you are, a living commercial for the entrepreneur program and what you can do from here. So we will use you efficiently and often to tell our story and spread that. So please help me one last time thank our 2013 alumni entrepreneur, Craig Pollard. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. It's been a great night. It's been a great night. Make sure you follow up with Cancer for College tomorrow, tonight. Tweet, Facebook, share your pictures, your videos, and come see us at the Greif Center. It's a great night. Beat the Irish. Fight on. Fight on.